Senator Risa Ontiveros denied rumors that she had insertions in the Bicameral Conference Committee's version of the 2025 national budget. Ontiveros stressed she made no BICAM insertions, had none in the unprogrammed funds, did not sign the BICAM report, and even voted no on the budget bill. She urged the public not to believe in fake news, saying all her proposed amendments went through proper Senate procedures. The BICAM process has come under fire amid supposed kickbacks involving current and former senators, allegations they have all denied.
Now let's get some insights following those developments.
We have with us via phone Professor Edmund Tayo, President and CEO of Peers. Good morning. Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly. Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, thanks for joining us again. All right, what's happening right now sa Senate? Ano ba yung basa natin dito? Do you think itong possible na pag-resign ni Senator Ping Lacson is to save the leadership of Senator Tito Sotto?
Well, actually, related naman lahat yan, no? It's part of the whole narrative, and the narrative simply is it's a war of propaganda, no? Siraan dito, siraan doon, no? To be precise about it, if we look at the legislative procedure, yung insertion pareho yan sa amendment.
Right.
Ibig sabihin, kasi at every stage of the legislative process, every member of Congress, and when we say Congress, that's both the House of Representatives and the Senate, any of its members can introduce changes to the proposed legislation. After all, it's a proposed legislation. Okay, so when you amend, when you change, you you take some amount from one program, activity, or project or PAPs to another, that's an amendment. It's called an insertion when it is something that is not originally planned in the budget and you introduced it. No? Now, and there's nothing wrong when you do that, whether in the plenary or the BICAM. Even the Supreme Court has already ruled, no, that even the BICAM can introduce changes to the proposed legislation, because that's not the final step after all. No, it still goes through the president, and the president can review. And even if the budget has already been approved, the release of the budget can still be delayed, as the process is such that it's subject to continuous review and continuous assessment. I think that's what happened.
So when does insertion become bad? Go ahead, po.
Let me just finish para maklaro sa mga tao. Kasi yung word na insertion, malisyoso eh.
Yes.
No? Kaya nagiging hindi maganda ang dating sa publiko. Kasi nga, yung mga gustong tawag dito, matuntun yung katotohanan, ginagamit itong salitang ito para siraan ang lahat, no?
Right.
Para sabihin na ikaw din may insertion hindi lang ako, no? Pero hindi kasi doon natatapos. Kailangang makita ng publiko yung buong picture. Okay. Anyway, so as I was saying, so kapag ka nandun na-approve na, meron pa ding monitoring and assessment yan. Pwedeng i-delay, pwedeng i-stop, no? At yan ang tingin kong nangyari, kaya binanggit ng Pangulo na siguro nakita niya, napaka-garapalan naman na yung nangyayari, so inihayag niya ngayon yan sa publiko. So ang nangyayari ngayon, nagsisiraan sila kasi gusto nilang mangyari, hindi na matuloy itong investigasyon na to at wala nang mapanagot. So magkakadugtong yan doon sa panawagan na magkaroon ng snap election, sa panawagan na pati si Risa Ontiveros nakasama doon sa mga nagtatanong ng mga matatalas na tanong, kasama si Senator Ping Lacson, sinasiraan din. Ang isa pang kailangan nating tingnan dito, away ito ng mga interesadong grupo na kung tutuusin, talaga namang kasama dito sa malawakang pagnanakaw na nangyayari sa gobyerno. Sa madalit sabi, hindi lang dapat sa administrasyon na ito matatapos, no? Nagsimula naman yung nakawan na yan kahit nung una pa. Hindi lang nung nakarang administrasyon, kahit nung una pa. So ito ang problema ngayon kapag lumantad yan lahat sa publiko, talagang halos lahat sila masisira. Yun ang iniiwasan ng karamihan.
So my question po, Prof, is when does insertion become bad?
Well, insertion becomes bad when, first of all, hindi naman siya talaga kasama. Kasi, before the budget process before the budget is taken up by Congress, nanggagaling yan sa DBN kaya meron kang National Executive Budget, no? NEB, no? So kaya July pa lang yan naghihiring meeting na naghihiring na ang DBM with the other agencies so that it can submit the budget by September to both houses of Congress. Now, ang insertion nagiging masama kung halimbawa naglagay ng 3 trillion na budget. Nawa mong 4 trillion na hindi mo na walang panggagalingan. Kasi ang budget, hindi lang basta naglilista ka lang ng ano yung gusto mong bilhin, ano yung pagkagagastusan mo. Kasama pati dyan yung projection kung magkano yung revenue collection mo. Kasama din dyan yung uutangin mo. No? At isa pa yan na ginagawa nilang, ang tawag dito, pinapasama nila ang itsura na tumataas daw ng tumataas ang ating utang. Hindi maiiwasan na tumaas ang utang. Ang iniiwasan natin, lumampas tayo doon sa limitations ng GDP natin kasi kapag lumampas yun, ang tawag dito, baka maging katulad tayo ng Argentina nung nagkaroon sila ng bankruptcy. No? Yun ang iniiwasan. Pero lahat po ng bansa, no, doon po sa mga nanonood sa inyo at nakikinig, lahat po, kahit po ang Estados Unidos, kahit ang bansang Hapon, kahit ang China, lahat yan may utang. Kasi ang gobyerno po, hindi naman yan pribadong sektor na nagsesave. Hindi po ganon, no? Ang papel ng gobyerno ay gumastos ng gumastos kasi yan pump priming kung tawagin sa ekonomiya. No? So now, having said that, okay lang sana yung insertion basta nandun tayo sa limit. At ang pinakamasama dito, kaya nangyayari itong nakawan na ito, kasi doon mismo sa implementation. Ang sinasabi siguro ng ibang senador, wag lang nakatutok sa kanila, sa Kongreso at sa Senado, yung investigasyon. Kailangan talagang mahanap yung dulo nito at kasamang at malaking bagay talaga yung papel ng mga ahensya katulad ng DPWH.
Prof, there's been talk of a suggestion na tanggalan daw ng power of insertion yung Senate mismo but not Congress. Kasi for example, yung pattern daw nitong insertion sa US, sa Senado ng US, meron naman silang represent na state. So therefore, the senators would know ano yung projects kailangan. Here kasi, the senators daw don't represent technically a geographical location. So ano po ang tingin nyo dito? Should we at least explore that idea na if ever may projects, iwan na natin sa LGU or maybe the district congressman?
It's good that you asked that. No, I don't know if I've mentioned to you before that my whole career has been about understanding constitutional requirements.
Yes.
And let me just be clear. When we say legislation, that includes amendment, that includes insertion, and so on. That's power of legislation. That's power of policy making. You cannot qualify that. It doesn't have anything to do with whether or not a senator is representing a particular region or is elected at large the way we do it here. What is wrong is that we have not been changing this setup ever. Kaya nga hindi ko na tinatawag na political system, setup lang dahil ang klase ng politika natin tao-tao lang at kampihan. Okay, partisanship. Hindi katulad sa ibang bansa na pagka sinabi mong political party, tunay na organisasyon ito, merong struktura, may proseso na sinusunod. Dito sa atin hindi ganon. Ngayon, pati yung Senado natin kakaiba, at sa pag-aaral namin at marami ng mga meeting kaming ginawa, lalo na nung binabalangkas namin yung Federal Constitution, lahat ng nakausap naming mga banyagang eksperto, pinagtatawanan tayo kasi ang Senado natin kakaiba, at kaya ang nangyayari, ang mga nahahalal magkakapatid, yung mga walang magawa sa buhay, at hindi naman kwalipikado, yun yung mga tumatakbo. So kailangan talagang baguhin mo yun, pero not to the point na i-qualify mo yung legislative powers. Mahilig kasi tayo doon sa mahilig tayo sa tingi, yung it's a set up. We really have to change the whole.
Ako, nawawala-wala si Prof.
Pero magandang discussion to.
Alright. We have so much questions. Unfortunately, we don't have much time, but hopefully we can have you again. As usual, maraming salamat po sa inyo, Ed Montayo, President and CEO of Peers.